Are you tired of seeing your friends smile at the commander table? Well, don't worry. Today we're fixing that. With a €50 Jhoira of the Ghitu deck that destroys lands, suspends giant Eldrazi and ruins friendships. Jhoira lets us suspend any spell for just 2 mana, and we are not suspending fair cards. We are loading the deck with massive, game-ending bombs that hit the battlefield for free after 4 time counters tick down. Our plan is to destroy every permanent, including lands, and cheat out an Eldrazi at the same time. Before we destroy all lands though, do the responsible thing. Like the video, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. Ready? Let's ruin some friendships by suspending the end of the world. In most cases we don't actually want to cast our bigger land destruction spells from our hand. We would rather suspend it with Jhoira's ability and let it resolve for free. Ideally we'll mess with the time counters to speed it up. With cards like Apocalypse, we're foretelling the apocalypse, set to go off in 4 turns. It's like handing the table a ticking time bomb and smiling while we do it. When the last time counter vanishes, everything burns. Lands, creatures, artifacts, gone. Our best land destruction spells are Obliterate, Decrease of Annihilation and Apocalypse to get rid of everything. Boom Bust, on the other hand, only destroys every land. We are also casting smaller land destruction spells like Raise and Seismic Spike to choke off their resources early. Volcanic Offering is quite interesting in this list. It's a 5 mana instant that destroys a non-basic land of your choice and a non-basic land of an opponent choice that you don't control. In addition to that, it deals 7 damage to 2 targets, one you choose and one of your opponent's choice you don't control. Volcanic Offering is one of those cards that feel political and bring a fun dynamic to the table. On turn 4 we want to suspend a land destruction spell and a creature so that from the ashes our Eldrazi arrives, fresh, untouched and with haste due to the mechanics of suspend. And just to add insult to injury, many of our creatures come with Annihilator, forcing our opponents to sacrifice what little they have left. At this point our friends are flipping the table. It's not that easy to remove a Break of Creation that has Hexproof and Annihilator too when you don't have any lands to cast spells. Break of Armies doesn't have Annihilator but lets us remove their leftover creatures through combat, and Desolation Twin creates another 10/10 to hit our opponents. But we are also playing Etali Primal Storm for even more value. When he attacks, we can cast the top card of every opponent's library for free. Magmatic Force burns our opponents every upkeep and destroys leftover creatures. Sphinx of the Second Sun lets us manipulate our time counters by providing an extra beginning phase and therefore an extra upkeep, but is also a heavy hitter. Let's talk about other cards to manipulate time counters. Cards like Clock Spinning, Time Crafting and Fury Charm lets us remove time counters on instant speed so we can catch our opponents off guard. Shivan Sandmage is also excellent for ticking down the clock by letting us remove 2 time counters on ETB. We even have the Doctor Who crew joining the chaos. The 9th Doctor, the 10th Doctor, Amy Pond and Wibbly Wobbly Time Wimbly is bringing themed synergy and clever interactions to push our suspended spells into reality. The 9th Doctor grants us an extra upkeep if he's tapped during our untap step. Amy Pond on the other hand removes 2 time counters when she deals combat damage. The 10th Doctor also cares about a creature attacking, but even more important, lets us pay 7 mana to time travel 3 times. And just in case that's not enough, cards like All of History All at Once and Time Beetle also let us time travel. With Rift Elemental we can even repeat this process. Rift Elemental is such a valuable card in this deck, because he lets us break the usual timing restrictions of Suspend. Normally our big land destruction spells tick down during our upkeep, but with Rift Elemental we can take matters into our own hands and remove those counters whenever we want. That means if our opponent is about to win, maybe they are setting up a combo or swinging in for lethal, we can just activate Rift Elemental during their turn, pop off a suspended Apocalypse or another board wipe and reset the entire game before it's too late. But to make all this time magic work, we need to stall the game a bit. Because let's face it, we don't want to die before our land destruction or board wipe actually hits the battlefield. That's where our defensive toolbox comes in. Arcane Laboratory slows down opponents by limiting how many spells each player can cast, but that doesn't mean we can't suspend. Dreamtides limits them on how often they can attack by forcing each player to pay 2 mana to untap a creature. Meanwhile, Folkbank soaks up damage, Propaganda taxes attackers, and Silent Arbiter limits on how many creatures can attack and block each turn. Those cards buy us crucial turns. That's why we pack the deck with plenty of counterspells and removal to buy us even more time. Counters like Counterspell, Negate, and Arcane Denial stop opponents from messing with our suspended spells. Meanwhile, removal like Chaos Warp and Reality Shift clear troublesome permanents. To keep the engine running smoothly, we've included a solid suite of draw and filtering spells. Cards like Brainstorm, Ponder, and Preordain help us dig for key pieces quickly. We also have versatile spells like Prismary Command and Izzet Charm that both draw cards and help us manage our hand or interact with the board. Our mana base is super simple, almost entirely basic lands. That's because one of our land destruction spells, Ruination, only hits non-basic lands, so we stay safe while everyone else gets wrecked. The few non-basic lands we run, Darksteel Citadel and Silverbluff Bridge, are indestructible, so they survive the chaos. And I guess I don't need to tell you why we play Strip Mine. Of course, we are also running Sol Ring and Arcane Denial, as well as 2 mana rocks. If you want to upgrade the Pain, consider adding Wild Magic Sorcerer. With him on the battlefield, our first spell we cast from exile gets Cascade, so when we cast an Eldrazi, it's likely we get another one. And just to make things even more annoying, we can run Blood Moon. Because why stop at destroying lands when we can turn everyone's mana base into a pile of mountains? But if you really want to push things over the edge, consider adding a few extra turn spells. Nothing says fair and balanced like an extra turn. Beacon of Tomorrow and Temporal Mastery grant us an extra turn, which we can cheat into play by suspending it, or even just cast it. Wordfire is without a doubt my favorite card in this entire strategy. Exile everything. Lands, creatures, hands, graveyards, and set everyone's life total to 1. Unfortunately, it's a bit out of budget for this list. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, drop a comment telling me how many friendships you plan to end with this deck, and don't forget to subscribe for even more evil budget brews. Seriously though, play this deck only if you're ready to go home